Welcome to Creole, of course, online. We're here on beautiful Bourbon Street here. You'd expect it to be full of people and loud, but we're on the more residential area in front of Lafitte's Blacksmith shop. We're on the trail of one of America's great Caribbean pirates. Pierre Lafitte and his brother Jean Lafitte arrived into town, privateers, or pirates as we'd say today. It was no longer a blacksmith shop. They used it as a front for their organization of pirates. Why would they need a front? Well, there were 8,000 refugees who moved here to the city of New Orleans from the Caribbean, and they moved with them. In fact, they moved them. Saint-Domingue was the sugar island. It was one of the 7th largest economies of the world. And when there was a slave rebellion there, everyone who could get off got off. And when they arrived here, these refugees needed goods. They wanted to rebuild their lives. And who better to get them these goods than the privateers who were taking down other ships that had goods in the Gulf of Mexico. These things the Lafittes had supplied on the sugar island of Saint-Domingue, and they were happy to try to supply here in New Orleans. Lafitte would make his money off of this. They would meet here at the blacksmith shop because the blacksmith shop was a front for their organization. In fact, they sat around and talk about old times, and then they'd get down to the business of ordering goods from pirates. The great thing about this building is a lot of people believe that it survived the fire of 1788, which would make it one of the oldest structures here in New Orleans. It is certainly built in the same fashion that the very earliest structures in New Orleans were made, with this pastiche. You can see here the wood, then they would use the bricks. Now the bricks from the Mississippi River were very soft, and so they were made of silt, not sand, and so it could rub off on your hands. So they would have to cover it with this stucco material, and here you can see it's eroded in here. These are Caribbean shutters. This is why we have this Creole look in the French Quarter. The American shutters would have slats in them, not these. These could close off the street completely and basically keep you nice and warm during the cold winters that were here, and could protect you from a hurricane when it occurred in the summertime. If you look at the roof line of these Creole buildings, you'll see a slanted up. That slanting is very familiar throughout the West Indies, throughout the Caribbean, and also in parts of French Canada. And so therefore this synthesis of architecture is one of the most appealing and enduring aspects of the French Quarter. Lafitte's blacksmith shop, one block upriver here, was known because of refugees and sailors. They came there and they were a raucous bunch. Some would say an awfully gay bunch. When the owners lost their license, they had to move somewhere else. And so they moved here and called it Café Lafitte's in Exile. On the wall there is a letter from the US government explaining to sailors and other US enlisted men that attending a place like this was against Army regulations. While the signature drink up the street at Lafitte's blacksmith shop is a hurricane and a voodoo daiquiri, here, a cowboy cocksucker will do.